This reaction is brought to you by my $5 or more patrons at patreon.com/Alex Haitz. I'd like to thank Andreas Glacial, Steph Newtown, Andrew Graff, at HotGirlVideos69 on Twitter, Dauphin Thorndike, Jeff Dean, Mark Ventura, Matthew McLaughlin, Richard, Sebastian Strahler, Uwu Tang, Will E., Caden Richards, Robert Mackay, Totally Not Tyler or Lewis, and Sam Gavshak for sponsoring this video, supporting me, my family, the channel. I appreciate it immensely, and I hope you all enjoy this video. You know, a little bit ago, it was hailing pretty hard outside. I actually kind of had to, like, delay the recording because I didn't want there to just be, like, a shh going on the entire time. And before I knew it was hailing, I was wondering, a storm has come. Or is it just another shower? We'll never know. Welcome, everybody, to another album reaction. I hope everybody's doing well. We are finishing up the main initial run of the Chameleons today, and we will be following it up with the next two reactions being Why Call It Anything, their comeback album from 2001, and then we're going to finish it off with the Fan in the Bellows compilation and then the Tony Fletcher EP. Just kind of round out the entire Chameleons oeuvre, if you will. Yeah, so last album, What Does Anything Mean? Fantastic. There are tracks on it that I like more than tracks on Script of the Bridge, for sure. P.S. Goodbye is a stellar track. Perfume, Garden, Intrigue and Tangier, On the Beach, One Flesh. Man, it's a killer album. First two have been killer, and I'm very excited to be checking out this one here today. For those who don't know, I do unedited reactions on my Patreon, patreon.com/Alex Haitz. For $5 a month, you can get access to unedited reactions from Modest Mouse going forward. That was April of 2021 that I began doing these unedited reactions. And you can go on the Patreon now and enjoy upwards of about 75 unedited album reactions for $5 a month. Gets access to that catalog. You can also hop in at the $1 per month level and get access to voting in polls that we do every 2 to 4 albums, breaks up the monotony of artist discography binges, and lets us interject a miscellaneous random album into these high-quality album reaction video series playlists. So if you want to support the channel, that'd be the place to do it. Also, got a shout-out NordVPN, link in the description for that. Got an affiliate link down there. My favorite VPN, been using them for years. Great speeds, fantastic prices, one of the best priced on the market. If you are in need of a VPN, which these days everyone's using VPNs, it's the in thing. Go check that out in the description. Strange Times. Oh no, it's the final one of the initial run where they were making like an album every 1 to 2 years. Man, they were just on a streak. And then I don't know exactly how this all panned out, but Tony Fletcher, their band manager and aptly titled EP that came out in 1990, which, if I'm not mistaken, was recorded in 87, so maybe that was going to be their stuff for the album after Strange Times. I don't know. Hard to say. We've done one track off of that EP, Denims and Curls. I don't remember it that well, but their band manager died, and it just kind of dissolved the band. Like, it seems like right away, and they just never really like did anything after that. They did solo stuff. They reformed the Chameleons again here and there. They're currently Chameleons Vox. Still has Reg Smithies in it. Dave Fielding no longer an element of it though. So yeah, this is just kind of the last hurrah for the band until their comeback album that we'll be doing next time, Why Call It Anything. So this has a different producer as well. The last albums were produced by the Chameleons as well as Colin Richardson. This one is David Allen, who, if that doesn't sound familiar, produced Boys Don't Cry for The Cure, and then went on to kind of produce like Head on the Door, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Disintegration, Wish, like pretty notable Cure producer there. And then they brought him back for Why Call It Anything in 2001. So interested to see how this album might sound a bit different from the ones before it. I have heard Soul in Isolation, don't remember it that well. Swamp Thing is fantastic. Love that track. Eager to listen to it, react to it again. Everything else here, I have no idea. 52 minutes, pretty standard fare, looks like for Chameleons. These three albums are rated so highly and closely together that I'm just expecting this to also be a fantastic set of tracks here. I'm expecting I'll Remember to be a fantastic outro because they seem to be really good and intentional with outros. If it's anything like Script of the Bridge, I might not be super into the opener, but we will see. Let's go ahead and commence with the first track, Mad Jack. So yeah, there's a very subtle difference in this production. It still sounds big, like they've always been really reverb heavy. But there's a like not to get super geeky here. The diffusion on the reverb is a bit different. It's leaning more towards that big music stadium sound as far as like the early and late reflections of the reverb going on here. It has that bigger stadium sound to it. Also, like leans a little bit more in like a new wave vibe too. It's more like accessible and poppy, I would say. I don't know. Interesting opener. Probably one of my favorite. I mean, I think Silence, Sea and Sky is beautiful, but that's just like a little 2-minute introduction. I like this possibly more than Don't Fall, which I know might sound a little sacrilegious, but it's just the way I feel. Caution, almost 8 minutes long. Oof. That was cool. Things I liked, the dip in volume, like it went down like 4 or 5 decibels. It got quieter, and just kind of hung out there, and then it ascended again as it climaxed. That was cool. Guitar lines were nice and sweet. It sounded like The Cure, man. Like as soon as it kicked off, I'm like, that sounds like The Cure. Things I didn't like, the vocals a little bit. I don't know. Like when Mark kind of goes off, I could see people really digging that. It's definitely the post punk side of things, right? That energy and that angst and the oomph. Not always to my taste. It kind of depends. In this case, it kind of fell flat a little bit for me, but cool track. Cool track. Next one is Tears. This was the only other single on the album from the album, aside from what's it called? Swamp Thing. Yeah. So let's listen to Tears.
To dance the days away, I wasn't worried at all. For the light to turn green and carry me home to the kindest I know. How will it be? The chaos and gloom carry me home. I watch the scene. Just coincidence. Well, you can talk that way.
That's cool. A little bit of psych on there, a little washy and wiggly, and great. I love a good, well-produced acoustic guitar. It's always such a pleasure to listen to. Yeah. Really solid, nice little psyche single. I dig it. Very typical Chameleons off kilter chord work too. Soul in Isolation. I've heard this on the channel. Do I have this as its own video? I do. It should be linked in the comment below if you want my first reaction on this. I don't remember it, so let's go. I like that more on a second listen. I know I hadn't re-listened to that track after I'd heard it the one time. Makes a lot of sense as the end of a side of a vinyl as well, because that's the end of the A side. It's still like maybe a tad long as far as like what it explores, but like pretty much everything in it is solid. Very quintessential Chameleon stuff right there. Very bombastic, gothic post-punk stuff. Very soaring, typical stuff. Cool. All right, Swamp Thing. Love this track. Let's listen again, baby.
On and on. the light of life was gone. Still staring down at the floor. So long, the shower. Every 9 to 5.
Bacon eyes.
Please leave, I just go away, or I lose my mind completely. I just leave. So long. Or is it just another?
Just a magnificent tune, man. Great 80s track right there. Larger than life, has a nice build up, takes its time, and man, that like just crescendo into the 1-4-5 thing. And so long. Like the Mark vocal quirks on this one, especially during the verses. Please leave, just go now. They work so well. It's such a well crafted poppy rock tune. It's all of the good stuff of the mysterious part and the like artistic side of Chameleons, but it has a pop appeal. Love it. All right. Time/the end of time. Getting into the stuff that I have no idea about now.
Unchained, intoxicating youth. Slipping away, hard to make the most of your hard time. Anymore. Tired all night. All alone, child, we'll try hard
Cool. Fantastic. Man, I like that a lot. I was the first part, I kind of noticed that it's some of the more like straightforward 80s new wave guitar chords that I've heard from Chameleons so far. It didn't like go in a bunch of weird, odd directions that they typically do. It was a little bit more straightforward, at least in the beginning. Man, that outro, like that's the kind of stuff I want to be able to create. Like acoustic guitar with a nice like reverby electric guitar over it, super simple, but man, absolutely beautiful. Like that quite a bit. Seriocity?
I used to be so sure, uses I have no. Water, now that the deed is done, we'll wait, watch the ripple. One's daughter joins with someone's son. It goes on and on. Used to be so certain, how could I? It's like a bullet from the gun. Watch the figure fade. Over fields of
No. Great. Like that one too. The guitar work, man. Like I don't know how you guys can maybe tell me this. I've been curious about this. I know that Mark pretty much just plays the bass a lot of the time. I've seen him do acoustic guitar here and there on like some like live performances for like radio shows. Does he ever write any of these guitar lines, or is it mostly Dave and Reg who do all of this kind of guitar work, and he primarily writes and performs the bass parts? Tell me. I want to know how well known or not known it is, how much Mark actually writes different aspects to the songs. I'm obviously, I think he's the lyricist, the bassist, but like how much else does he actually contribute here? But yeah, that acoustic guitar line was magnificent. I love that a lot. In answer, a lot of these fade into each other. That was also cool. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. I'm liking the. There's definitely a more. I don't know if I want to say poppy because that's not quite the accurate term. There's a more straightforward, accessible approach going on with a lot of these songs. There's still like the cautions, the soul and isolations that are more daring. But there's been a lot of very approachable tracks here that I think are quite beautiful, quite compelling, quite interesting. There's definitely a little bit of a different flavor on this album than the last two. I don't know if that's the production, the songwriting convictions, whatever it might be, but this has been quite solid so far. As solid as the other ones, which is what I was anticipating, but also not like copies. They're not the same thing, you know? Childhood. Least favorite so far. It wasn't terrible. Um, it was just felt a little too washy, a little too like it wasn't on even footing. It was just kind of pushing and pulling in a very not compelling way, I guess. The riff was okay. I don't know, the chords were just kind of bland and it's a little flat, I guess, but fine. Fine. I'll remember. Last track. Let's go. They just brought it back. They brought back the Soul in Isolation thing for the very tail end. As far as like the outro tracks go, sorry if you can hear my dog barking in our bedroom across the wall. As far as outro tracks go, I don't like it as much as View from a Hill, View on a Hill, View from a Hill, or P.S. Goodbye. It does try to go for that same thing, that very melancholy, ambient, bittersweet soundscape kind of work. It mostly achieves it. There's parts of that I liked, but also it's just kind of like, I wouldn't say flat, but just not as emotive as the previous two albums closers were. So that is Strange Times. It is very good. It is very good. Do I like it more than What Does Anything Mean? Possibly. Maybe like by an ounce. Because What Does Anything Mean has 3 tracks on it that I'm not super into. Return of the Roughnecks, Singing Real Britannia, and Looking Inwardly. There are songs on that album I love quite a bit. This album has maybe more that I like. I think Mad Jack was interesting. Caution was cool. Tears I liked. Soul in Isolation, cool. Swamp Thing, magnificent. Time End of Time was also magnificent. Seriocity was really cool. In Answer was solid. It was the last 2 tracks where I just kind of felt, had good flow, had good atmosphere, had good production. The songwriting was compelling as always. Very curious to see where they would have gone if Tony Fletcher had hung around, or if they decided to stay a band after he passed. Because I could see them exploring really interesting stuff, especially like you got Dave Allen producing now. Would they have wanted to continue with him? Would he have not been able to produce the Cure albums if that was the case? You know, like all these what ifs. What does anything mean, basically? And I don't know. Interesting that they reformed again for that comeback album. And Dave Allen was able to return, so that was cool. I don't know. Maybe you guys could, muse on that in the comments. Like, who were the Chameleons influenced by? What were they listening to that was contemporary with them? What were they drawing influence from around them? Because obviously you have aspects of The Cure in their music a little bit, as far as all the post-punk and gothic stuff goes, but it certainly was like a different kind of flavor than something that The Cure was doing. So the Chameleons' like influences are very fascinating to me. I don't know who they were listening to or enjoying or whatever that might be, but yeah, solid album. Glad I listened to it. Quite magnificent. I will be re-listening to a lot of these tracks. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, that is it, everybody. That is it. Hope you all enjoyed the video. I apologize again for the dog barking. I don't know what the heck is going on in there. Maybe there's an intruder, in which case I will perish in just a few moments. But before I go, I have to say that I need to plug the Patreon yet again. $5 a month, access to unedited reactions, of which this is one. And then also got to plug the Discord. Link in the description for that. Got about 170, 180 members over there. I'll post early access to YouTube uploads before they go up on Saturdays. Post announcements in there. And we coordinate some of the poll voting stuff in there as well. So if you want to join the community of people who watch me listen to things, that is the place to do it. That's all I got for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and head out. This was a nice recording session. Eager to see Why Call It Anything next on the horizon. And then we finish off with the compilation and the EP, and then we're doing a poll album. Then we're on to Jeff Buckley. I've already heard Grace, but we're doing sketches. I'll probably re-listen to Grace. I don't know. Maybe I can do a live album re-listen stream for that. I've been talking about doing those for like albums that I've already heard. Just sit down and listen to Airplane Over the Sea or In Rainbows or something, and just have everyone enjoy the music and kind of talk about it. Might do that for Jeff Buckley. We will see. But that's all I got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, Godspeed.